But this video shows portals opening in the sky, secret inventions that were never made public, and moments that defy logic.
Holy
So watch till the end and see if you still feel the same way.
it just totally changed shapes on here.
A military convoy near Area 51 stunned locals when they saw a massive dark ring being hauled on a flatbed under heavy escort. At first, the ring looked old and inactive, just a strange, oversized object being moved from one place to another. But then the center of it slowly started to glow, like something inside was powering up on its own. No soldier in the convoy reacted. No official ever explained what it was or where it was going. The fact that this happened just miles from Area 51 made a lot of people think this was no ordinary transport. Moving object. A factory worker in Peru was wrapping up his shift and heading toward the exit when something shot past him at full speed. A glowing ball of light, low to the ground, moving faster than anything he had ever seen inside a building. The object didn't flicker, didn't behave like any light reflection or electrical fault. It traveled with direction, like it knew exactly where it was going. He reported it, but nobody had an explanation. Some things just don't belong in the world we think we understand. Cloud plasma. A group of hikers in Mexico were out on a trail when the sky above them started doing something none of them had ever seen before. A thick beam of light was dropping straight down from the clouds, bright and intense like plasma, but every time it reached the ground, it simply vanished. No impact, no strike, no sound. Then it happened again and again. The same beam, pulling back up into the cloud and dropping back down repeatedly, like something was testing the connection between the sky and the ground. Snowy ring. A tourist in Canada stumbled across something sitting between the rocks in a snowy forest that stopped them completely. It looked like a ring-shaped arch, made of water or ice, perfectly formed, holding its shape in the cold air without any visible support. Curious, they reached out and touched it, and that is where it gets strange. It was not water, it was not ice, and it did not feel like any material they could put a name to. Smooth and completely unexplained out there in the middle of a Canadian winter with nobody around to say where it came from. Unidentified light. A local in the Mexican desert came across a cave opening in the ground that had no business glowing the way it was. Deep inside, a bright blue light was pulsing and shifting along the walls, with no source and nothing attached to anything. He filmed it from the edge, then left. Whatever was happening down there, he decided he did not want to find out. Secret invention. Back in 1996, a German scientist stood in his lab next to a large ring-shaped device and claimed he had built something that could open a portal for teleportation. The footage shows the ring fully powered up, a blue swirling light filling the center of it, looking very much like it was actually working. He went public with the announcement and then disappeared. The device never surfaced again. No lab claimed the research, and no government acknowledged him. Whatever he built in that room, somebody made sure it never went any further than that one recording. Time travel portal.
Giant portal for the local principalities.
Back in 2009, a tourist passing through Romania came across a massive white ring standing in the middle of a public square. Locals said it had been there since the late 90s. But what spread online was a different story, that the site was once used for time travel experiments, but it failed, and the ring was left behind. No government record confirms it, no official ever addressed it. And the ring just keeps standing there in the middle of the city, like it is waiting for something to finish what was started.
Look what it's called. Transcending.
Blue portal.
Oh my God, look up in the sky!
A group of friends spending the day at a beach in Ireland got a lot more than they came for when something appeared in the sky above the water. A massive dark ring, mechanical looking, with blue lights running along its frame, was just above the clouds, rotating slowly, like it was scanning the area below. They stood on the sand and watched it for a while, long enough to be certain it wasn't a plane or a drone or anything they had seen before. Then it moved into the clouds and was gone, and the beach went back to being just a beach.
Whoa. I don't see it.
Glowing balls. A man driving home took a shortcut through a dark back road when two glowing red objects appeared in the distance, moving fast. Before he could process what he was looking at, they were already level with his car, keeping pace with him no matter how fast he drove. He hit the brakes and stopped completely. The two objects slowed down, hovered in front of his windshield for a moment, then shot back into the darkness the same direction they came from. He sat there in the middle of that empty road with his engine running and absolutely no explanation for what had just looked directly at him. Unidentified object.
Is that?
A man recording the New York City skyline from his apartment window caught something strange. Floating in the darkness was a glowing opening, edges burning orange, the inside deep black with blue light crackling through it like something was tearing through from the other side. He kept the camera on it, and it stayed long enough for him to know he wasn't imagining it. Then it closed, and the skyline went back to looking exactly the way it always does. France portal. On the 8th of October, 2024, somewhere in France, a burning ring appeared in the sky at 6:27 in the evening and stayed there for exactly 1 hour. The clouds around it were swirling slowly, the ring itself glowing orange like it was on fire, and the center of it was pure darkness. Not the darkness of an empty sky, something deeper than that. It was filmed from multiple angles over that entire hour, and the location was never officially confirmed. By 7:28, it was gone. An hour is a long time for something like that to just sit in the sky above you. Glowing portal.
What are you?
The woods outside his house in Canada were completely quiet on the night of the 29th of March, 2025. But then something strange happened. A perfectly formed ring of white light was floating near the tree line, dark and hollow at the center like it was pulling the surrounding darkness inward. A local watched it from a distance, hold its shape in the cold night air, and then it was gone, leaving nothing behind but dark trees, and the question of what exactly had been standing out there.
That's a drone. You're very interesting.
Portal discovery. A man in China came forward with footage of something he had apparently been working on, or stumbled across a portal-shaped structure with strange energy visibly swirling through its center. He told people around him that what he had found was connected to time travel, that the energy inside it was not from any conventional source. The footage spread, people started asking questions, and then the man simply vanished. No arrest, no statement from his family, no follow-up from any authority. The discovery he spoke about was never addressed publicly, and everything he recorded disappeared along with him. Mid-Street portal.
You hear that? It's humming, and the flames are inside it? That's insane.
Midday in a quiet Canadian town, and something appeared in the middle of the street that caused a lot of theories. A swirling mass formed right there on the road, circular and hollow at the center with burning at the base of it, smoke wrapping around the edges like it was holding itself together by force. Cars were parked on either side, trees in the background, a completely normal street, and in the middle of all of it, this thing just stood there. Nobody approached it. Then it collapsed, and the street was empty again.
There's fire inside it.
Oh, that's actually crazy. Is it moving? It's just hanging there.
Nevada desert portal. People who visit the Nevada desert usually expect cracked earth, scorching heat, and nothing but silence for miles. They don't expect to find a giant shining ring sitting in the desert mountains like something dropped from another dimension. That's exactly what one hiker saw. An enormous, metallic ring in the middle of desert. No government agency explained it. A few researchers pointed out that if something like a dimensional portal ever existed in real life, this is probably what the early version would look like. Quiet, inactive, just waiting. Mysterious transportation. A ring-shaped object was rolling down a public highway in Austin, Texas, like it was the most normal thing in the world, being transported under full police escort with lights flashing, taller than the truck carrying it. The ring had green lights running along its entire frame, and its center was filled with something strange, like it was still active. Some people thought it was a time travel-related object. Others thought it was a portal to connect other dimensions. Whatever that object was built for, moving it through a busy highway in plain sight was either very bold or a very deliberate decision. Leaked portal. Footage leaked from an unknown source showed something inside a high-security facility that nobody could clearly identify. The object is enormous, dark, and covered in what looks like ancient markings burned or carved across its entire surface. Scientists in full protective suits are seen carefully examining it. People online believe this object was recovered from an archaeological site and brought in quietly. Others think it is a failed teleportation experiment result. Dark ring.
What is that? I don't know.
Back in 2021, a local festival in Romania was in full swing, with crowds filling the streets, lights everywhere. Then floating in the sky above the crowd was a dark, perfect ring, just there, not moving, not making any sound. It hung there long enough for everyone to get a good look, then it was simply gone. Whatever it was, it chose a very crowded night to show up. Mysterious portal. A passenger on a commercial flight filmed something out of their window that has never been properly explained. Moving through the sky was a dark ring-shaped object with strange patterns covering its entire surface, rotating and swinging through the air like nothing that follows normal physics. The passenger kept filming as long as it stayed in view. People who analyzed the footage couldn't agree on what it was, but everyone agreed on one thing. Whatever that thing was, it was a sign. Strange lights.
Show yourself. At least one of you.
Something happened over Austin, Texas one evening that unfolded in 3 stages and got stranger with every second. It started with an unusually intense light breaking through the clouds, brighter than any sunset and coming from a single concentrated point. Then a beam came down from that light, striking toward the ground before pulling back up. And then the sky opened into a glowing ring shape, perfectly curved, burning orange against the dark clouds like something had torn through the atmosphere from the other side. It stayed for some time, and then it simply closed, like a door shutting from the other side.
What the f***? Yo!
Strange stones. A hiker moving along a mountain trail stopped when something ahead didn't look right. Scattered across the path were stones hovering completely off the ground. No strings, no support, nothing holding them up. They weren't shaking or spinning, just floating there in total silence like gravity had simply decided not to apply to that particular stretch of trail. He had no explanation, and honestly, neither does anyone else. Red light mystery. One night over the UK, the sky above a castle lit up with something that looked nothing like anything people had seen before. Dozens of deep red lights dropped downward from the clouds simultaneously, flickering and branching like upside-down lightning across the entire sky. The official explanation was red sprites, massive electrical discharges that occur high above thunderstorm clouds. That explanation exists, it is documented, and scientists stand by it. But watching that footage, knowing what you know about the sky, it is very hard to convince yourself that it looks natural. Mysterious crash. Residents near a shopping area in California woke up to a massive burning crater right in the middle of a parking lot. It seemed like 2 burning objects, not sure what exactly they were, but caused some serious damage on the roadside. People who saw the footage had completely different opinions. Some thought something had been ejected from deep underground, others believed it was dropped from above. A few researchers who studied the clip said whatever caused that crater didn't match any natural event they could identify. Swizz portal. People in Switzerland were going about their day when someone looked up and told everyone around them to stop and look at the sky. The clouds had opened into a perfect circle, with a burning orange and white light coming straight through the middle of it, and the clouds around it were slowly spinning. Nobody said anything for a moment. It looked like something was on the other side of that opening, pushing its way through. It stayed there long enough for people to genuinely panic, and then it closed, and the sky went back to looking completely normal, like nothing had happened.
Look at the sky. Oh my god, it's like a whole. You see the light?
Teleporting portal. A local from South Korea uploaded a short clip online, and nobody could make sense of it. The footage shows a woman standing on the side of the road. What's strange is what's next to her. There's this swirling portal opening right there, and she's just standing near it like it's nothing, like she's done this before. Then, in a single second, she's inside. It closes behind her, and the street goes back to looking completely normal. Share your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think she is right now? Traveling light. Late at night in Peru, a red light crossed the sky, and nobody could agree on what it was. It wasn't drifting the way a flare drifts or falling the way something falling. It was moving with direction, like it had somewhere specific to be. The man filming it stayed on it until it vanished completely from view. No sound, no trail, no explanation the next day. Whatever that red light was, it came from somewhere and it went somewhere, and neither of those places has ever been identified. Lights collision. Two strange lights appeared in a purple sky, and nobody watching could figure out where they came from or what they were doing. They moved slowly toward each other, and as they got closer, they began connecting, curving, until they formed a perfect glowing ring hanging in the middle of the sky. The ring held its shape for long enough that people had time to really look at it, and then it faded, leaving behind a completely empty sky and no explanation for what just happened. Laser lights mystery.
It's like a cage. Whoa, it cut the tree.
Locals in Ohio stepped outside one night to find dozens of green laser beams dropping straight down from the sky, perfectly vertical, spread across the entire area above their town. They watched as the beams switched off one by one until only a single gray light remained, and that one came down fast, not fading, not drifting, but dropping like something losing control and hitting the ground. Nobody found anything at the impact point the next morning. The beams were gone and the sky was empty, like the whole thing never happened.
Oh my god, they're all turning on.
Portal disappearance. A group of friends in China noticed a small glowing light on the pavement outside a building late at night. One of them reached out and touched it, and the moment he made contact, the light expanded into a swirling blue portal right there on the street. He stepped inside. It closed behind him. The rest of the group stood there on that pavement in complete silence, and he was simply gone. No one in that group has heard from him since, and whatever that light was, it has never appeared in that spot again. Los Angeles mystery. Recently, Los Angeles had a strange night, and people across different parts of the city all saw it at the same time. Intense beams of blue and white light were shooting across the sky from a single point, spreading outward like something was either sending a signal or receiving one. Then, in a separate part of the city the same night, a glowing blue disc-shaped light appeared hovering low beneath the clouds, completely silent. Something was above Los Angeles that night, and it made sure enough people saw it. Mirror portal.
There's this huge warehouse, grocery store, or something down there.
Back in 2001, a woman filming herself in her bedroom mirror noticed something was off with her reflection. She reached toward the mirror, and instead of touching glass, her hand went straight through. She paused, looked at the camera, then stepped through completely. What the footage shows on the other side is a massive superstore. Bright lights, long aisles stretching into the distance. A place that had no business being inside a bedroom mirror. She walked in like she knew where she was going. The mirror closed behind her, and the bedroom was empty. Nobody has confirmed who she was or where that store was located.
Hello?
Burning object. A Ring camera outside a house in the California woods picked up something moving through the trees late at night that nobody inside the house even heard. A burning object, bright and fast, was weaving between the trees, like it knew the layout of that forest, moving with direction through the dark. It lit up the whole yard as it passed, close enough to the porch to be clearly visible on the footage, and then it went into the trees without a trace. No damage was found the next morning, just a mystery. Portal crash. A glowing ring-shaped object came down over a city in India recently, and the area was shut off before most people could get anywhere near it. Locals who were close enough described it as a bright blue ring trailing light across the sky before it came down. Authorities moved in fast, blocked the area off, and said absolutely nothing to the public. No statement, no explanation, no press conference. The speed at which they secured that site tells you everything they refused to say out loud. Electric ball.
What the
A man sitting inside his car outside a Walmart at night caught a strange light nearby. When he checked, he was shocked. It was a powerful ball of electric light moving fast across the parking lot, darting left and right like it was searching for something, lighting up everything around it with every pass. The man stayed in his car and kept filming, which was the right call, because whatever that thing was, getting out to investigate it was never going to end well. Sun candle. Over the mountains of Whistler in British Columbia, a vertical beam of glowing light appeared, cutting straight down through the clouds like a door had opened in the sky. Bright, concentrated, and completely still against the dark blue mountain landscape below it. Experts called it a sun candle, sunlight passing through a narrow gap in the clouds, creating a flame-like beam. That explanation exists, and it is documented. But a weather explanation feels a lot easier to accept from a distance than it does from directly underneath it. Orb encounter. Late at night, on a road in China, a local came across something standing right in the middle of the street that made him stop immediately. A massive glowing orb, blindingly bright, just sitting there at ground level, with no explanation for what it was or where it came from. Not a vehicle, not a light fixture, nothing that belongs on a road at that hour. He watched it for a moment, then turned around and went the other way. Whatever that thing was, getting closer to it was never going to end well. Strange clouds. Nobody in Mexico City was looking at the sky until they had no choice. The clouds above the city had turned deep red and pink, swirling into each other with a glowing opening burning through the center, lighting up everything below it. People stepped out onto rooftops and just stared. The city was completely visible underneath it, millions of lights, and above all of it, this massive churning formation that looked nothing like weather and everything like something forcing its way through. It stayed long enough for the whole city to notice, then faded out slowly until the sky was dark again. Mysterious sky. A local in Dubai was driving home from work on the highway when something in the sky made him pull out his phone. Hanging above was a massive cloud formation that looked nothing like a natural cloud. Perfectly circular, completely still, while everything around it moved. It looked like a UFO was hiding between the clouds, or had a cloud-like shape. The longer you watch the footage, the harder it becomes to convince yourself that what you're looking at is just a cloud. Camper encounter. Heading out for a camping trip in the forests of Peru, a man came across something on the trail that made him turn around and go straight home. Between the trees, there was a dark, flickering mass, no clear shape, appearing and disappearing like something was trying to form but couldn't quite hold itself together. He packed up before he even made camp, and honestly, that was the only decision that made any sense. Strange object encounter. Deep in the woods of Texas, an explorer stopped dead on the trail when something between the trees caught his eye. A large, shapeless mass was hovering just above the ground, cycling through gray, pink, and deep red, pulling itself into new forms before dissolving and rebuilding again. It had no edges, no clear shape, nothing that matched anything in the natural world. He watched it long enough to know it wasn't going away on its own, and then he walked back the way he came and didn't look behind him. Cloudy portal. "30,000 feet in the air and a passenger on a commercial flight pointed their camera at something sitting inside the clouds that made them stop scrolling and start recording. A bright, concentrated glow, perfectly centered, not spreading the way light through clouds normally spreads, just there locked in one position while the plane moved past it. The passenger kept zooming in, trying to find an edge or a source, and found neither. Whatever that light was sitting inside those clouds, it wasn't behaving like weather."
What
Amazon mystery. Villagers living near the Amazon forest started noticing a strange glowing light moving through the trees at night, appearing and disappearing over several days. They tracked it, and when they finally got close enough to see what it was, they wished they hadn't. It looked like a flaming figure standing between the trees. The closer they got, the colder the air became around them, and a smell of decay hit them that had no source. The strangest part was that every time they moved toward it, the figure moved further away at exactly the same pace, like it knew the distance it wanted to keep between them. Unexpected catch. A man riding in a hot air balloon was recording the scenery below when something in the sky ahead made him shift the camera upward. Some huge ring shapes had appeared out of nowhere above the clouds, perfectly formed, slowly rotating with smaller rings circling around it like it had its own gravitational pull. He kept filming as it held its position in the sky. Then it was gone, as suddenly as it had shown up, leaving nothing but clear blue sky where it had just been. Giant hand. A man exploring the Nevada desert came across a massive hole in the ground and made the mistake of getting closer to look inside. There was a giant hand with heavy chains locked around it, like something had been kept down there against its will. He assumed it was some kind of artwork left out in the desert until the fingers moved. Slowly, deliberately, like whatever was down there knew someone was standing above it. He backed away from the edge and left without another look. Portal discovery. A man in Mexico has been quietly working on something he calls the Vertex Portal, a small ring-shaped device built to show glimpses of the past. The footage shows it fully powered up, glowing and functioning, before something malfunctioned at the last moment. He didn't walk away though, and kept adjusting it, trying to get it back to where it was. If he manages to fix it, we might actually witness a real portal opening and a window into another time. The question is, what comes through it when it works, and whether any of us are actually ready for that answer.